I don't know about you guys, but I just stumbled onto some gold. Hello everyone, I'm with me, and today we're gonna be watching a video called, oops, I don't have the name up, oh my, Denying God and Embracing Evil in Today's World. And oh man, the first statement, oh my goodness, the first statement. So the video starts off like that. It's kind of, interesting to say at least. Hey, at least it has music. Whatever. Well, that isn't entirely the main argument. It isn't an excuse, because an excuse is attempt to lessen the blame attaching to a fault or offense, seek to defend or justify. What I'm saying isn't an excuse because I'm not seeking to defend or justifying anything. I'm simply just saying an argument. And I feel like that's a bit of a... it isn't the full argument. You see, some people say that the Bible is the infallible word of God, but people are like, no, it was written by man, so it's invalid. Plus, it's fallible anyway, so both of your points are wrong. Now, just because it was written by man doesn't mean it's invalid. A lot of things were written by man, like, I don't know, our textbooks, for example. A lot of things were written by man, and they aren't necessarily invalid. Insert low quality picture of someone writing here. Alright, the argument may be wrong, but it is not an excuse. We aren't, like, denying God or anything like your video is saying. We simply just do not believe in God. We aren't denying him in any way, shape, or form. Haha, insert I'm smart meme here. Yeah, I see that as a definition. I would do God or gods, but gods, whatever, it works.
What the fuck?
And it was at this moment I realized I struck gold. All right, let me fuck this point by point. That is not what the definition said. It in no way, it literally specifically said it's not someone who does not want to believe or is in denial of believing. It's simply someone who just doesn't believe. You basically just gave a definition and was like, this is correct, and then said the exact opposite of what the definition said. You're stupid. I'm sorry, you're just stupid. And personally, I personally would love there to be a God. Pray to God, and he's like, oh yeah, here you go, and you get like $5 and go to McDonald's, that'd be cool. But, that doesn't happen. I love that. Note how they use the word gods. They do that in vain attempt to disassociate from the one true God they are trying to avoid at all costs. That's great. I love that too. We say gods is because we're also denying the Hindu gods, the Greek gods, and other gods of that nature. Oh wait, no, we're not denying we don't believe in those gods. It's also quite sad. Can you imagine an atheist who's never even been religious before, and he watches this video and he's like, what? What are you guys even talking about? I just don't believe in a God. I was never even raised in a religion. What the fuck? You know? But I don't hate God. I don't believe he exists. I have no reason to hate him. And hate is a loose term. Do you mean like angry towards or dislike? Because if you mean angry towards, dislike, I get angry towards and dislike Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat when I'm fighting him. That doesn't mean I believe he exists. Either way, that argument is so flawed, that sentence, this quote is so flawed, because it's stupid. You can hate something that doesn't exist. What if you're crazy and you imagine a person and then you hate that person? You hate something that doesn't exist. You might believe it exists, but it doesn't exist. See what I mean? You can also love something that doesn't exist. Yeah, I went there. You mean people who don't like labeling themselves and simply tell them, "Oh, I just don't believe," and then they go on with their life? Is that who you're talking about? Also, I also love that thing you added at the end. They will believe just about anything as long as it's not in the Bible. You, person who made this video, you honestly, genuinely believe. I thought it was just a troll video at first. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. But I feel like the person who made this video honestly and genuinely believes that we just don't want to believe in the Bible and we hate it and we just despise everything about it. And if it says to do something in the Bible, we don't do it. If it says to not do something in the Bible, we do it. I would. I mean, if we were making up our own God, would we create one with such absolute demands for justice, righteousness, service, and self-sacrifice as we find in the Bible? Yes. Yes, of course. This is a stupid point. I hope he stands on this point and makes it better because, right now it's just stupid. Of course I would. I mean, me as a person who has feelings and is honest, some people have like different views, but me personally, of course I would make a God like that. It'd be awesome. No more pain and suffering, just happiness. If we can't even keep those laws, then how the hell are we supposed to follow them? What the hell's the point? And I feel like the point of those laws is they were made up so you can, believe in God and worship Him. The commandments, most of them are about worshiping God and being in His glory and stuff like that. And some laws make sense, like, don't murder. But most of them are just like, oh, don't work on Sunday or else you'll be stoned. Why would God make rules that we can't even keep in the first place? What the hell's the point? Wait a minute. Sell all, give their possessions to the poor, and follow them to death. Hang on a minute. Hey, I'm not gonna sell all of my crap and give all my possessions to the poor. That's a bit extreme, don't you think? And wait a minute. Why haven't you given this to the poor yet? You're making YouTube videos and you haven't gave your possessions to the poor. You haven't gave the internet to the poor. You haven't gave your computer. You have to give your possessions to the poor, man. If you want control, you would. If you want to control someone, you have to make that person controllable. You have to figure out a way how. If you tell them that a God exists, and if they don't do as you say, you're going to burn in hell for all eternity, they're probably going to do what you say. At least, if they are, stupid and don't think for themselves. This brings up a more interesting question. We are accountable to that God, and God isn't made up because people wouldn't make that up? Is that your argument? Because like I said, control. What if people wanted control? I mean, if I wanted control, I would make up a God, and I would make that God do what I want him to do. Because, I made him up. I would make everyone be accountable to that God, you know? If they don't follow the rules, they get punishment. Now, I won't make punishment, you know, burning in hell for all eternity, because that's just ridiculous. But I'd make the punishment, you know, justifiable. Like, say, for example, you stole something. Well, someone will steal something of yours. Something like that. Of course, if you're in a cult, you would make up a god that do as they tell you, and everything you tell them, they do, basically, right? And as you make up the god, you're like, oh, okay. Let's say you want to control the person, and you want them to murder people. You will say in your text that God has, let's say you made up the God and he exists, and basically, since you made up the God and you're in a cult and you want the person to murder someone, you make that God tell that person to murder someone. And if they don't, they're going to burn in hell for all eternity, and then eventually that person murders someone. But if you just created a God and the God, you know, doesn't exist, you just made it up, you basically are like, okay, God told me that you should murder someone, and if you don't do it, you'll burn in hell. And then that person has to murder someone, or else they're going to burn in hell. Because they think they're going to burn in hell because they're in a goddamn cult. You see what I mean? Well, humans are weird anyway. Even if there were no reason to create a God that has like all power and all control, you know, something like what the God of the Bible is, even if we wouldn't want to create a God like that with control of power, humans are weird anyways. I mean, what if it was just fictitious stories? What if they were just stories made up, and then you decided to fucking add them all up and do some crazy shit with it? But I don't believe the universe is God. I don't believe Jesus, Buddha, or Confucius were sent down by the universe. Look, now you're doing the morality argument. Ay. Look, evil doesn't exist as an objective standpoint. However, subjectively, evil does exist. Say, for example, you murder someone, you know? As a human being, your own psyche and mind is probably gonna, you know, be crazy. You murder someone. It's crazy. Some people who murder people confess eventually because of just how guilty they feel. You have to understand it isn't God telling us that murdering people is wrong. It's ourselves. It's our feelings. How would you feel if someone came into your house and murdered your family? Someone came into your cow. You would feel awful. That's why you don't do that. Even at that point, it might be a little like, oh, it's kind of selfish to think that way. Well, even if it is, it's still a reason not to murder someone. Another reason would be their family members. How would their family feel if that family was murdered? If you murder a family, relatives would be like, oh my God, the family's murdered, and they'd cry and be sad. And that's sad, it's heartbreaking. See, that's a non-selfish reason not to murder a family. We, as humans, we may not like accountability, we may not like all these rules and stuff, but as humans, we also realize that we need these rules. We need them. We need them to do good. We need them to survive as a species. Occultism. How ironic. Alright, this video has gone on long enough. I'll probably make more parts of this video, as this video is kind of long, but again, I talked a lot, so I'll definitely, try to do more parts of this video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye.